In this video, we're going to look at some other payment FAQs. So review some payment FAQs. That's what we're going to do here. So the items to cover, we're going to look at on-account payments. Why do you have on-account payment and how do you remove them from the patient's account? Auto apply copay during charge entry. If you have a balance forward for a patient in another system, how or how would you bring that balance forward to the system here? And how you can apply an interest payment. So let's begin the training. So the first item is, what is an on-account payment? So on-account payment is if you would typically see an on-account payment for a patient or an insurance. Now if it is a patient on account, and I'll just try to bring up a patient here. So you can see on the this patient's ledger, at the bottom there is an on-account amount. So this patient shows that this patient has $695 on account. What the on-account money that you see on the patient is any payments that have been entered but not have been applied. Now it could be because this payment has been entered but the charge may have not been entered for it yet, so it cannot be applied, or it could be that the charge may still be in the process by an insurance and it may not be applied because of that. Or it could also be that this is in fact a credit money and you cannot apply this payment. There's no place to apply this payment. So if you click on the on account, it actually shows you the payments that the on account is coming from. So you can see it shows you the payments. These are all the unapplied payments for this patient, which adds up to that amount that we saw on the on account. Typically, the on account money may be not as large as you see on this patient because this is a demo patient in my system, so that's why you see a large on account money for this patient. But typically you might not see such a large on-account money for patients. So the on-account money, as you are seeing here, is because it's a payment that cannot be applied or has not been applied yet. You may also see the same for insurance payments, but typically you should not. But you may have some insurance payments that you may have held back or not completely posted the money. So if there's any insurance payments and if you have not applied the full amount on that insurance payment, that money will also be sitting unapplied. You can always run the report number I-5, which is on account payment report, to see any insurance or patient on account money. You would also be able to see the on account payments by going into this payments, and this on account report is also available under the payments menu. So you can also get to the on account report from the quick option here under the payments. Next we're going to look at how you can have a copayment auto applied when you're entering a charge. So I'm going to go navigate to the charge menu and go to enter charges. Over here I'm going to enter a charge for a patient. to make it easy, I'm just going to click on the copy last charge to fill in all the charge information. So the charge information is all filled in. Now you can see over here on the right hand side, it shows the patient has a $990 on account. Now if I click on this select option, it's going to show me all the on account copay payments. I can click here to select whichever copay payment that I need auto applied to this charge. I can click this payment and you can see that payment is selected. So, and there's an auto post checkbox that appears right next to it. So when I hit save here, it's going to save this charge as well as auto apply this payment to the charge. Now let's say if this copayment has not been added yet to the patient's account, and you need to add it, you can always click on this plus symbol next to this copay field. So hit the plus symbol and it brings you to the add payment screen. So once it brings up to the payment entry screen, you can enter the amount that you the copay amount the patient paid, and just select the method how the payment was paid, whether it was cash, check, credit card. And once you enter that or select that option and enter the information, you can hit save to have the payment saved. So I'll hit save and have the payment created. Shows a payment number, and I click on OK to have the payment to have that message go away. Now you can see that payment that I just added now shows up on the list, and so I can just click on this payment, and once that payment is selected, you can see it also has the auto post checkbox checked. Now when I save this charge, it is going to save this charge as well as automatically post this payment or apply this payment to this charge. Now just to keep in mind is that if there are multiple lines on the claim, the system will always auto post to the first line. So it will only auto post to the first line. So that's how you can add a copayment or select a copay payment while posting a charge. Now the next item we're going to look at, if you have any balance forwards that's in any other system that you want to bring that over here for a patient, how you can do that. So there's no straightforward way that you could do that. The workaround is that you would create a dummy procedure named balance forward, and you would add that balance forward in the system, and you can apply and post that balance forward procedure in the system to the patient's account. So if it's typically a patient balance forward, what you would do is that you have to first have a procedure that is added in your fee schedule named balance forward. And you can do that either from the add procedure on the screen, on the procedure setup screen, or you can go to the fee schedule and add it from here. So I'll just hit add CPT and it'll bring this up, and we can then type in the code. So let's say this is the code we need to add. So I'm just adding this dummy code, balance forward, and I'll just describe it as balance forward. And we can, if you want to enter an amount, you can enter that. If you also want to set a default line status for it to always bill to patient, you can also set that here. We can save this, and that adds that procedure into the system. Now we're entering a charge for a patient, or we would now have to add that balance forward to the patient's charge. Now to add the balance forward to the patient's charge, either you would enter it as a new charge, which you can go to the enter charge and add it as a new charge, select the patient, and then select that balance forward CPT and enter it. Or if you just want to kind of attach it to a new or to an existing encounter, you can just go and open up an existing encounter. And let's say if you want to add this here either to the cash case or to the insurance case, you can select any of the encounters here, and you can, if you want to, let's say, add it to this encounter, we can just type in the add new line, we can type and select that code. So there's a code that I added. I'll select it and save encounter, which will then add that to the line. And then I can just put in the amount for this. So let's say the balance for that needs to be coming over is $100. Apologize. Let me just put this. It's $100 on the charge. I will enter 100 and select one unit, and we'll also put a diagnosis pointer here, and we'll set that to the bill patient status and hit save line. So that has been added as a balance forward line for the patient. Now the same concept also applies for interest payments. So if you want to have added interest for a particular patient, you can add the interest as a dummy code in the system, and then add that dummy interest code for an existing encounter or to an existing encounter for the patient. Or if you want to add it as a completely new encounter, you can go to the charge entry screen and add it as new encounter. Sometimes you get interest payments from the insurance, and when you get interest payments from the insurance, it might not be specific as to which patient it has to be for. Or it could be a general interest that is being given. So in that instance, you can maybe create a dummy patient account named interest, and also have this interest code added for as a new encounter, new charge, and then you can post that interest amount to that charge. So that was all in the payment FAQs.